Hi all, and thank you for joining me today for a quick review of Dreamforce's DreamTX. This is a review video, not a recap, but for those of you who are interested in that, my coworker Chris posted multiple short daily videos during DreamTX recapping what went down that day, or I guess the day before, and letting us know what to look forward to. So go check those out. Those are posted on our YouTube channel as well as some of our social media sites. Also, Salesforce released all of their recordings from DreamTX on December 18th. So for those of you who might have missed out on a session or two, especially if you happen to have sessions occurring at the same time, go check it out. Otherwise, stay put. So first off, Salesforce kept referring to this Dreamforce as DreamTX. I am going to address my elephant in the room, and that is the TX part. If you watched one of our previous videos, you will see Chris S. and I guess, we can't figure out what this TX stands for. And finally, on day one, we found out, which is Trailblazer Experience. I wish they would have had told us this a little bit earlier because I have been guessing for weeks now, and none of those even came close. One of my guesses was even DreamTX at some point. That is so embarrassing, and this is why I do not do crossword puzzles. Anyways, back to DreamTX. So obviously, been under a rock. Dreamforce was virtual this year, just like every other Dreamforce event this year. And rather than taking place over a few consecutive days, the first day, aka the keynote speech day, actually occurred a few weeks before the rest of the days, the rest of the events. So Chris S. and I also did a video about that keynote speech, and you can go check that one out as well. But the real DreamTX, the real good chunk of Dreamforce, took place over 4 consecutive days, and each day had a theme. Some of those themes were Trailblazers, some was Customer 360, and each day was structured in the same manner. This day was open up with a DJ, and then they would have an introduction for 30 minutes to an hour from a new set of hosts, and closed with like a celebrity or a famous guest speaker or performer. I really appreciated that they opened with new hosts every day, and I'm very curious how they got that opportunity to do that. And besides one of the days, their hosting, their live streaming went extremely smooth. Like the fact that they were in their own houses, in their own environments, and not together, and they were talking, and this was being live streamed out to hundreds of thousands of people, and there wasn't even like a glitch. I want to know who their internet providers are and like what kind of plans they have. Like, hook me up. I would love to know. Really, I would appreciate it. So, Salesforce, let us know. There was a few minor changes from the keynote speech in regards to how the event platform was set up. One of those, which is an ongoing topic of interest for me, and that is the chat box. The chat box was up again during the introductions and not optional to opt out like in the keynote. This, for me, is always very distracting. I'm trying to focus on what it is, and I just have all these chats popping up. But at least this time they were able to remove all the spam of people sending like their LinkedIn profiles and whatnot. So at least the monitors were able to do that for us. However, I will say that the chat was very helpful in the individual sessions because I gained some pretty good tips from other trailblazers when we were talking about the content, especially working from home. Some people would post what they've learned and just like all these other tips, and I hadn't even like thought about some of those things before. So I would say I just want the ability to opt in and out to avoid distractions. That's all I'm asking for, Salesforce. But otherwise, it's pretty good. Also, I didn't see other language options to select from, including American Sign Language, which was present during the keynote speech. So I'm curious about how people who are non-native English speakers were able to enjoy the event, and if they were able to watch it in another language later on. So for those of you who were able to figure that out or were able to, please comment and let us know. So of course, per usual, there were a lot of announcements. Like some of these are new, some of these are old, some of them are reiterating like what we already know or kind of like what we had suspicion of. Some were in the introduction speeches, like the Trail Quest, and some announcements were in individual sessions, such as Trailhead Go for Androids. As an Android user, let me tell you, blessed be the Fruit Loops, I can now skill up wherever I go. I did find out that this was actually announced back in November, but clearly it just went over my head or I missed it. Somehow I was not in the cloud, apparently. But so just let me live in my moment of happiness that I can now get badges on the go. Okay. Also, a lot of these sessions were 30 minutes long, and I loved that. Loved that. It allowed the speakers to get to their point very quickly, and as an audience member, I didn't lose my attention, or they didn't lose my attention or interest. I think having these shorter sessions are really helpful, and it allowed us to watch a lot more content, even if Dreamforce was wrapping up by 1 p.m. my time, Pacific Coast time. And while speaking of content, there was content for everyone. They had so many sessions, regardless if you're a dev or someone like me who does events and marketings for a partner company, every day had something for you. And that's kind of the point of Dreamforce, right? You bring trailblazers together to connect and to learn more about the ecosystem and how it applies to you and what you can do with it. So, of course, Dreamforce or DreamTX isn't all about learning. There is definitely some fun along the way. On day 4, they hosted a scavenger hunt. I was unable to participate in the full scavenger hunt, but for those of you who did, let us know and what you got as a prize. Write that down in the comments because I kind of want to know. I was very intrigued. Also, Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart had a cookie decorating demonstration. That's probably my favorite part of the whole event because I could not stop laughing. They're friendship goals and they're the most unlikely but like likely pair. And I want to high five whatever millennial like convinced Salesforce to have them on together. Like at one point they were even advertising on like CBD and wine products, and I didn't learn how to decorate a cookie. However, regardless, I would watch it again. 10 out of 10. Good job, Salesforce. That was quite comical. So overall, not a pretty good virtual DreamTX experience. I think we are all hoping that we can see each other in person again next year for Dreamforce, but honestly, this was a pretty good alternative. I'm hoping that they use this experience and apply it to Trailhead DX because more than likely that will also be virtual for 2021. For those of you who did participate in DreamTX, you are, I guess, logged in, you should have gotten a survey from Salesforce asking you about your experience. I highly recommend you fill this out because they can use that information to improve not only their big Salesforce events, but any of their virtual event experiences. And as an event planner myself, this information is very valuable. So do them a favor, fill it out. Well, alrighty guys, that is it for me. Leave comments below on what your favorite sessions were that you got to attend and what you're looking forward to coming in 2021 for the Salesforce platform. So make sure to subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media and our blog posts on Creme de la CRM on Medium. And of course, as always, we will see you in the cloud.